NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is delivered by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR.
In Darlington, we have a new leader. Kyle Busch has come back to the lead, and trouble for Casey Mears off turn 4. That car crawling off the corner.
Oh, yeah, he smacked the wall hard right in the middle of 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, Casey was running in the 13th spot, has had a pretty solid car all night long.
It had the look of a right front tire maybe going down because it just shot up in the wall.
No caution. Patrick Carpentier has gone to the garage area, and a lot of smoke out the tailpipes of his car. Here's the pass for the lead just moments ago.
Kyle Busch had been slowly but surely reeling in that 24 car. Jeff Gordon just takes the lead away, going down the back straightaway.
And here's Casey Mears.
He's already smoking getting in there.
I believe he had a tire going down, Darrell. Had all that look about it. The car never turned.
Trying to get it wound up. I think it was the left front tire.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, the left front tire was down and the car never turned.
No caution, just down.
And there goes Dave Blaney in that 22 car. He takes the 4th spot away from Jimmy Johnson in the 48. We can't say enough about this run this 22 car is having. This is a car that missed the race 2 races ago at Talladega. Great run last week, top 20, and here they are up in the top 5 solidly. There's Tommy Baldwin, the crew chief. This has to be such a boost for this whole group.
Got to bring it home. Close the deal. Great cars. Got to bring them home when you got a good one.
But you know, Mike, you mentioned the 10 car Patrick Carpentier that went to the garage area with engine. Jeff Hammond in the pre-race talked about it. We're getting now to that final 100 miles. And these guys put a lot of laps on these engines in those 2 practices. I was nervous about that. I'm not sure we've seen the last of engine attrition.
Well, 2 practices Friday and practices Thursday evening. So you're right, a lot of laps.
Well, see, the guys didn't know they're going to have that Thursday practice. That was added. And so they run a lot of laps here because the track was so different.
Same layout, but brand new pavement. Much smoother surface at Darlington than we've seen before.
And the pace is much quicker. I mean, in the past here, we'd slow down 3 or 4 seconds in a run. And here we're only dropping off maybe a second.
Now, Kurt Busch in the 2 who did fuel only, Denny Hamlin in the 11. They just drove by Jimmy Johnson. So the 48 car is definitely starting to slide backwards.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about Larry, but staying out that last time, I'm not sure that was a good move.
The good thing is, though, right now, our top 5, they are cars that stayed out. Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Blaney, and Edwards. And we're about 25 laps away from what could possibly be these guys' last pit stop.
So the prophecy earlier of Greg Biffle's spotter goes unfulfilled when he told Biffle, let Kyle Busch go, he won't be there at the end. Well, Biffle is in the garage and Kyle Busch is leading.
I'd have to tip my hat to Kyle Busch tonight again if he can survive this joint. The way he drives, as aggressive as he is, and the way this racetrack is, if he can come out here tonight with a win or a top 2 or 3 finish, that's a great job after going to the rear of the field.
Well, right now, Busch and Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch are the quickest cars on the racetrack last time by.
And what Darrell's talking about, Kyle Busch, who had led a lot of this race about 130 laps ago, had a lug nut loose on one of his wheels under caution. NASCAR brought him back in. They had to put the lug nut on there. It was missing. Had to start back in 2030. Took him about 120 laps, but he's back in the lead now.
And Krista told us that team had lug nut issues on both rear tires this evening. The 2 prior times, the tire changer had got another lug nut on and got it tightened before the car pulled away. 3rd time they didn't.
And you know, we continue to hear all these lug nut issues as Jimmy Johnson continues to slide backwards. David Reagan in the 6 car just goes by him. Truex Jr. in the 1 car is now pulling up on the back bumper. But I think the big thing we never make note of enough is these guys are trying to change 4 tires and dump 18.5 gallons of Sunoco race fuel in about 12, 13 seconds. And there's the caution, debris on the backstretch.
That debris could have been A.J. Allmendinger. He comes down here with most of the right side askew on his
he's got
Toyota.
Look like a right rear tire down maybe.
There's A.J. did a good job qualifying for this race and was a lap down, running in 24th.
And we've got 19 cars on the lead lap. It's been about 30 laps since that last caution. I think this will put everyone even again. They will come to pit road for 4 tires, fuel, and adjustments. Still, you can't make it to the end. We still would have a one-stop race.
Casey Kane moves back onto the lead lap. He gets the free pass.
And the plot thickens.
His 6th caution of the night. Kyle Busch has now led over 1,200 laps in NASCAR's National Touring Series, Sprint Cup, Nationwide, and Craftsman Truck.
Unbelievable. That's all I can say.
And you know, he missed the truck race at Kansas, but he'll be back in the truck Friday night at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Of course, a truck race like the All-Star race, both those races will be aired on Speed.
And I wonder, during this green run, did he get up and catch and pass Jeff Gordon, or did Jeff see him coming, let him go?
I tell you, we're just not quite in Jeff Gordon's window yet.
I think you're right.
That's my take.
I think we got to get to about 50 to go.
I believe so. I think he's going to let that boy see. Let's see if that boy can beat himself before I have to try to beat him.
Perhaps the wild card here is Dave Blaney in the 22, looking for his first ever Sprint Cup win.
I don't think we've heard the last of that Mountain Dew car either.
And a good night for Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and David Reagan. Pit stops. Krista.
Kyle Busch did not pit back on lap 249. This time he said he needs some help turning. They're going to fix that with a wedge adjustment. He said he's not bad about a 2, but let's fix it. Steve?
Krista, Carl Edwards didn't pit on the last stop either, but he does now. He's going to get 4 tires. He said to Bob Osborne, I'm just a little tight. Dick.
Dave Blaney, the underdog, lost 5 positions the last time he hit pit road. The crew determined that's not going to happen again. He's going to try the wrench in the back window. Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. chasing his first Darlington wins. The car is good at 3 and 4, but he needs it to turn better off of turns 1 and 2. They're close. Meanwhile, Gordon's service already complete. He says his car is both pushing and loose, but it's the best it has been all night. Air pressure adjustment for the 24.
I would be willing to bet you see all those spots at the 07 Clint Boyer. Looks like to me Gil Martin rode the dice. 2 tires on that 07.
A lot of brake dust out of the right front of that 18 car. Ooh, that looks like a lot of dust for here.
We'll update the Kyle Busch brake situation when we come back.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Hanes. Look who we've got our Hanes on now. By non-drowsy Claritin Allergy Products. By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Ready for the restart in Darlington. Here's Kyle Busch's pit stop. Watch when the right front comes off. Look at all the brake dust even before that wheel comes off.
Still, there's a bunch up in the wheel itself. That's like short track.
That's
Martinsville
exactly
kind
what
of
you'd
brake
see
dust.
at Martinsville or Richmond.
And a big conference in Kyle Busch's pits. There's the coach, Joe Gibbs, in the white shirt. And Krista, because they're having lug nut issues again.
And still, Mike, yep, there's the coach huddling up his team, talking about the issue. It's been a lug nut issue, specifically a glue issue all night. They're just not sticking to the wheels. At least 5 have fallen off. They've caught them most of the time.
Ready to go green. Jeff Gordon leading Kyle Busch, then Dale Jr., Carl Edwards, and David Reagan. Green flag at Darlington, 83 laps to go.
And just to follow up on what Krista's talking about, the hold the glue on these wheels with like a weather strip adhesive. And I do think that teams continue to play with something that they may think is a little bit better than just that yellow weather strip adhesive you buy at a hardware store.
That yellow stuff can get in the threads, and it can kind of gald up the lug nuts sometimes. So they might be trying some different stuff. What do you got, Jeff?
Daryl, I actually got the lug nut glue you're talking about. This is what a lot of the teams are using. It's called the Norton glue, and you can see what we're talking about. It's very, very kind of rubbery, you might say. What the guys do, they come in, they will actually put it on the lug nut like so, all the way around. This is what holds this lug nut in place. And if it doesn't bond properly, again, it'll fall off. And when it does, this $1.25 lug nut can cost you an awful lot. But a lot of times you can get a bad batch of glue. Not necessarily that that's the case, but a lot of times that's one place you got to look at real quick.